Welcome back to episode 15 of Sidelined with Jonny and Noah. I'm Jonny.
And I'm Noah. In this episode, we're going to have a lot of things to cover, including the NFL's COVID protocol update, a couple of segments, and we'll be having some burning questions to wrap up. So let's get right into it. And for our first segment, we have some news around the league. Jonny, what is our first topic?
A lot of COVID outbreaks going on throughout the league. Every single team seems to at least have somebody on the COVID reserve list. But throughout this week, there was over 125 different players on that list.
Only two
and
teams
coaches
with none.
Yeah.
Only two teams with no cases. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I know.
And to highlight the games, the Cleveland Browns, who have been hit heavy compared to the Raiders. The Raiders didn't really have that many, but Cleveland Browns, a lot of their offense, a good amount of their offensive line, their star quarterback,
their backup quarterback,
Clowney, their backup quarterback, they're moved to Monday at 5 p.m. instead of the Saturday game that they were slotted for, at 4:30. And then the next one, we have Sunday's Washington versus Eagles, and the Seahawks versus Rams. They've both been pushed off to Tuesday at 7 p.m. both games, which is kind of interesting, but also frustrating for a lot of people who want to see those games.
Yeah, but who wants to watch a
I don't
Washington
think anyone wants to
Eagles
watch
game?
those games. Yeah, but it's the real. We'll just have to see what happens, where they're featured, and how to find them. But clearly,
interesting.
This is definitely the highlight of the week so far.
And with these games being moved, we had a lot of players speak out, including Baker Mayfield, Quandre Diggs, and a couple other players. You'll see that right here on the screen.
KJ Wright.
They just didn't like the decision to move the games. So that was pretty interesting. And then our final news update for this week, we have Urban Meyer, coach of the Jaguars, finally being fired after taking shots at his kicker.
Thank goodness. I mean, he was just did not sound like he was fit for the NFL at all.
No, not at all. They just need a new culture, and Urban Meyer just was not the right fit for them. They need a nice guy, essentially, because Urban Meyer just didn't seem to mesh with the players, coaches, or anybody else in that organization. So
he was a very selfish coach.
Yeah.
Like that's usually typically what happens for some college coaches. Some, not all, obviously, but they have control over what the players eat and they work out. I was just watching Get Up on ESPN, and they were highlighting that as well. And Urban Meyer's a very selfish coach. He was a selfish man too, it seems like. But it was just scandal after scandal, week after week, things were coming out. There was no real positive that I've seen of Urban Meyer being a coach in the NFL. Yeah. And this is just another college coach on the list of unsuccessful coaches who can't make it to the pros. Stick to college, I guess you could say.
And finally, we have our new updated COVID policy. Not anything like really drastic. It's kind of going back to what they had last year. Zoom. Sorry, there's only Zoom meetings. There's no outdoor or in-person meetings now. You're wearing your masks all the time, regardless of your vaccination status. There's no in-person meals. Like, you're not going to be sitting next to somebody. You're going to be, by yourself, obviously. And you're not going to have any outside visitors visiting the team while you're traveling. So. Yeah,
I mean, it's I think it's a little confusing for the players. Obviously, we're not in the NFL, so we can't properly make a statement on this, but it's just a little confusing. The NFL probably should have been more direct with what would happen in the emergency situation that has been going on right now. They didn't do it in the beginning of the season. I don't know. I feel like they're trying to just sweep this all under the rug.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's a lot of things that are unexpected, so we can't entirely blame everybody, but it's just a little confusing right now. So
yeah, definitely.
I feel like the players' voices should be heard the most right now.
Oh, because they're the ones that are dealing with this. It shouldn't be anybody else except for them.
Yeah. And actually, to name the notable people on the COVID list right now, you will probably know most of them, if not all. Baker Mayfield, Tyler Higbee. Fun fact about him: he tested positive before the Monday night game last week. It was a false positive. Yeah. Then he tests positive again. So now he's on the COVID list, and he's most likely missing this game.
Another game.
Tyler Lockett on the COVID list. Jalen Ramsey is on the COVID list from last week. Might be cleared this week.
Haven't heard anything. Any updates?
Haven't heard anything. Jarvis Landry, COVID list. Another one of the Browns' offensive weapons. Taylor Heineke, Washington football team. Jedrick Wills, great offensive lineman. Kenny Clark. I mean, that's one of the best Packers interior D linemen.
Yeah,
Chris Jones, another D lineman.
Yep, he missed the Thursday night game.
He missed the Thursday night game. Rashawn Slater.
Also missed the Thursday night game.
An amazing rookie, though.
Yeah, he's
having
looking
having a
fantastic.
stunning season. Von Miller, we all know that name.
Superstar pass.
Jalen Waddle, almost kind of forming into his own superstar in Miami.
I know.
He's out for the Jet game. Kevin Stefanski, the head coach of the Browns, he missed that playoff game against the Chiefs.
Yeah, that was
was it Chiefs or was it Steelers? It was
Yes,
he missed
the
the playoff game
Steelers.
against the Steelers last year with COVID, and he got slammed again. It seems like.
Yeah.
And Sean Payton has COVID. That's
That's his second time with COVID because he was the first
he was the first
NFL
coach,
person to get hit with COVID, so that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, and
So-
on top of COVID, we obviously have injuries. Sadly.
Yeah,
So Johnny, who do we have for this week?
Honestly, not like a ton. But we really wanted to focus on more of the COVID situation.
It's mostly COVID, yeah.
But in the Thursday night game, the tight end for the Chargers, Donald Parham Jr., he had that really serious head injury.
Yeah, after
in the first
watching
quarter,
it,
that was really scary.
After watching the play, I'm not sure where I mean, obviously he hit his head, but it seems like he just stopped, and it was I don't know why the cameraman was getting all up in the business.
I thought that he scored the touchdown. That was a celebration, him just like staying still on the ground. But then I realized, oh my gosh, he's actually hurt.
It was shocking,
But,
and we're glad to hear that he's okay.
Yeah. After being brought to the hospital, he's
yeah.
cleared to be taken home as of Friday. So
Which is
that's
great,
good.
but definitely a scary injury to see, especially on national television.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Next, we have Elijah Mitchell. He's going to miss another game, which is unfortunate with that concussion and the knee injury. Just hasn't been able to get healthy when they really need him the most, trying to make a playoff
Concussions
push.
are serious, yeah.
Yeah, and then we have a big update for the Cardinals. Chase Edmonds is coming back off the IR. Was supposed to last week, but never really made it. I guess he just wasn't healthy enough to make it back, but that's really big for them.
Yeah.
As well as another running back coming back for your New York Jets. Who is it?
Yes, Michael Carter's finally back after 3 weeks with an ankle injury. They sound like they're about to throw him right back into the fire too, because they said they want to give him a heavy workload.
As they should.
Against Miami,
Yeah.
whose defense has struggled with the run a little bit, but they're also looking kind of on the up right now. They're on a pretty decent win streak. They're coming off their bye. They're well rested. Obviously, they're without Waddle, but he's not on the defense. So we'll have to see how Michael Carter comes back after an ankle injury, which could, nag him for the rest of the season potentially. But he's also healthy now, so who knows?
Exactly.
And then
after him, we have Darren Waller is going to miss his second game. A big injury to the DeAndre Hopkins. He's going to be out for the rest of the regular season with that knee injury.
at least too.
Yeah. He could be out in the playoffs. Who knows? It's supposed to be 6 weeks, maybe more, maybe less, but we're not sure. Damian Harris, he's going to be out this week. Another running back, DeAndre Swift, is going to miss another game. Elijah Mitchell, we already said, so that's another running back. Riley Reif, with the ankle injury, he's going to be done for the season. Really big blow to that offense when they've just been losing people left and right.
Oh, yeah.
And then the biggest one out of almost all of these, Lamar Jackson. He hasn't really practiced at all this week, and as of Friday, he doesn't have an injury status, so we're not sure if he's going to play. He hasn't practiced, so we're not really sure where it's going to go.
Yeah,
So.
I mean that's really tough with Lamar. I mean they're clearly in the middle of a playoff run as well.
Yeah, they really need him on the field.
They're in the playoff race, I should say. They're 8-5. They're playing the Packers now, so
Yeah,
they
and
really need their
that's-
star quarterback at this point.
I know.
So let's jump right into the game plan, I
Yeah.
guess. Game of the week. There's a couple of people that you have highlighted, and this one has been moved. So what do you think?
Yeah, this one's really interesting. I have the Rams versus Seattle. I really think the Rams are getting hot right when they need to. I know they've been dealing with this whole COVID situation, so they might not have a full healthy team, but I think that Seattle is not going to get the win this one. I think the Rams are going to stay hot despite all this whole COVID situation with their roster. Yeah. I want to take the Rams. I'm going to say it's closer because they don't have the weapons and the firepower. I'm going to say 27-21.
Well, actually, another person that's on the COVID list, Odell Beckham Jr., we would have highlighted before, but he just recently tested negative on one of his COVID tests, so he might be back. So
that's big for them.
I would definitely say Wilson and the Seahawks have an uphill battle in this game.
Without a doubt.
We'll just have to see. I mean, they're playing on what? This is Tuesday. This is a Tuesday
Yes.
game? Yeah. We'll just have to see how well rested both teams are, I guess. Continue practicing, continue playing, but... my game of the week is Titans versus Steelers. I think the Steelers just came off a really painful loss to the Vikings after the couple couple seconds of the game, obviously, and I think they're going to be motivated, as well as the Titans, who, are in the race for the first seed. Not really. I'm not quite sure what to think of them, but I just think it's going to be an exciting game. The Titans always pull off exciting games, and the Steelers, if they're anything like they were last week with that crazy comeback, that could have happened. I mean, it should be an exciting game. It's fun to watch. I'm going to go with the Steelers, actually. Do
you have a score prediction for this one?
I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be probably by 3, but I think the Steelers will be up by 10. Titans will score a last-minute touchdown, and then, they'll try to get the ball back, and Steelers will probably run the ball or throw the ball really well. So I'm going to say Steelers by 3.
Okay, I like that. Next, we're going to go to our final segment here, burning questions. Just some questions that kind of need to be answered by the end of the season here. So, what our first question?
Well, our first one is: should Aaron Rodgers be the MVP frontrunner?
Interesting. I want to say yes, because without Aaron Rodgers on that roster, they have not been good. Jordan Love is not the guy that we all thought he would be coming in.
He probably needs more time.
I agree with that. And you can also make a case for Tom Brady. But Brady's team is absolutely stacked, where Aaron Rodgers' team, it's good, obviously. They have all the weapons there, but it's not as good as, obviously, the Buccaneers. So I think that Rodgers is the clear-cut number 1.
Yeah, I think I disagree, actually. I think Tom Brady should be the MVP frontrunner to this point. I mean, we'll just stop mentioning the age and just start naming the stats. I mean, he's the highest graded on PFF. Aaron Rodgers is obviously up there as well. PFF kind of favors pocket passers, it seems like.
Yeah, that is definitely true.
But he has 38 touchdowns, which is 8 more than Rodgers. I know Rodgers missed a game or 2, and I know he's suffering through that toe injury, which is, we salute him for that. But MVP, most valuable player. I think Tom Brady is the one throwing those deep balls to Mike Evans and to Chris Godwin and to I haven't really seen it much with Scotty Miller, Rashad Perriman recently, but without Brady, Blaine Gabbert probably could lead a decent couple drives. I don't know. We haven't really seen him.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't seen a full game.
Exactly. But without Brady, we see him in the fourth quarter. Blaine Gabbert can't really drive the ball like Brady can. Brady knows his offense. Brady makes the play calls. I know Rodgers probably does the same, but Brady's been in this league for a long time. I think the fact that he's doing this still is impressive enough for MVP, but like I said before,
the stats are showing it.
We can't talk about age because I know MVP is not an age award. Oh, he's old and he's doing good. No.
Yeah.
He's leading the league in passing touchdowns, yards, and he's up there in completion percentage, I believe, probably top 10. And passer rating, he's also up there. Obviously, he has a little bit of picks. Rodgers is good with keeping those low every year.
I know.
But I think it will end up coming down to these two people.
I think so as well.
And as long as Brady keeps it up, I think he should continue being the front runner.
Yeah, and what is our next question?
Well, is it fair for the teams unaffected by COVID to get their games postponed?
I'm gonna let you answer this question first.
I think it's think it's unfair. I think the teams unaffected by COVID, there was rules put in place before the game, before the season, that teams that were, unvaccinated would be punished. None of the teams that were affected were unvaccinated, in fact. But they were told if you didn't have enough players put on the field, you needed to forfeit. It's a COVID issue, and that's just that. Those were the rules. And Quandre Diggs, KJ Wright, Fletcher Cox, all these people sounded off on Twitter, and they said similar things like, this is not right because this is what the rules were. NFL, they said stuff about the NFL being a money grab. I think, honestly, I'm not going to comment on the NFL's procedures, but I do believe it's unfair for these teams because they were getting ready for their game, and it's not like they're the ones that need the more time.
Exactly.
And you're supposed to play a game through any condition. Rain, snow, injuries, COVID. We did it last year. They didn't postpone the Broncos and Raiders game when the Broncos' entire QB room. I mean, I know Browns fans would not like this, but it's tough to say you can postpone a game just because your quarterback is hurt. Your quarterback is suffering from COVID along with a lot of your team. When they didn't do it last year, and that was even worse than this year.
I know.
I mean, it was happening week in and week out. This is the first week we've had it. And they're just not really pushing the issue enough. They weren't clear enough with it, so I think that they shouldn't have postponed it. Simple enough.
I have to agree. I just don't think that the teams that were unaffected should like have their games postponed. I think you should play no matter what because it happened last year, and we saw Kendall Hinton playing quarterback when he was
poor
not.
guy. Yeah.
So,
I mean, also, if you think about it, they're also going to be affected for their next week. The Raiders are playing on a Tuesday, and now they got to play next Sunday. I don't know when the next game is scheduled, but that's a shorter week now to get ready for the next game. I mean, it's annoying. You have to sit there waiting to play a next game, and then, it's not fun for those players, and that's what they should really. The NFL should be looking after. Well, actually, the NFLPA was almost to blame for this, so they started pulling out the, someone on the Browns is chairman of the NFLPA. He was president for them. He's representing them. I believe it's J.C. Treader on the Browns, center for the Browns. And
I guess he made a case, and they liked it. So
I guess so.
That's
but,
what happens. And that
politics.
leads us into our last question. Who do you think is going to be the Jags' new head coach?
Well, what do you think?
I want to go with Jim Caldwell. I've been seeing his name a lot recently.
Yeah, it's come up.
And I don't know why he was fired to begin with. He had 4 seasons. His last 4 seasons were above 500.
Yeah.
9-7 was his last season, and you look at the Lions now; they're garbage.
They're terrible now. Yeah.
And nothing against their head coach now, Dan Campbell. I like him for them.
I like him for the future. Yeah.
I just don't understand why he doesn't have a head coaching job because he's a good guy and a good coach. I think he is the right fit. Going opposite of exactly what Urban Meyer was, and I think he is the perfect fit for the Jags.
Definitely. I'm gonna go with Eric Bieniemy. Not really because of Jaguars' connection or anything. I just think he deserves a job. I mean, this guy's been amazing with that, with the Chiefs' offense. I think he has a really bright mind. If Andy Reid's keeping him around for this long, he speaks very highly of him. The Jaguars could use a good offense for once. So with a young stud quarterback like Lawrence, that's what the Chiefs had with Mahomes. Why not? Why not hire this guy that knows how to form an offense? He knows how to talk to them. You've seen, NFL films where he talks to the teams in the huddle. He's a really smart guy. He's a very intelligent guy, and we need more diversity in these head coaching pool. I mean, I feel like a lot of people complain about it, and it's almost warranted because he's a very bright mind, and he missed out 2 years in a row for a head coaching job. I mean, good for Kansas City, but I still think
he deserves it.
Very bright mind. I think he definitely deserves a shot as a head coach.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So that pretty much wraps up this week's episode. I know we're getting a little different than what we've been doing the last couple weeks, but I think you guys enjoy it. So yeah, that's really it. If you guys have any thoughts or comments, let us know in the comment section down below.
Check the link tree down there. We have all our socials. TikTok is starting to blow up a little bit. We're gonna be trying to get more content out. I've been lacking on that. Johnny's been carrying that load for a little bit. So we'll have to see what we're going to be doing in the future. I have a couple of recordings to edit, so we'll see. A couple of entertaining stuff. So, be on the lookout for more. And thank you for watching.
Yeah. See ya.
Peace.